lives. I worked today and you know, had like half a brain on my job because all I could think about was how excited I was to be doing this with all of you today. And I think we're going to get started by introducing everyone. I know that a lot of people here are familiar to you, but I like to go around and let everybody introduce themselves anyway. And Myesha, my friend, I'm going to start with you. It's like I wasn't expecting that.
Of course. I was just about to message you. I don't know if it's just me, but your sound is trailing off toward the end of your sentences. So I just wanted to let you
Oh, thank you for letting
know.
me know. Yes. Let me put the mic next to me. Maybe that's what it is.
Hi, everyone. My
I
name is
could be.
Myesha. I'm a teacher here on Insight Timer. I'm an embodiment coach, educator, and practitioner. And part of what I do is I combine scent and somatics to help heal a lot of what people experience as anxiety and panic and just stressful or traumatic states that make it really challenging for people to fully be in the body. And so, what I do here on Insight Timer is an offering call from surface to soul. And that is like a meditative, somatic meditative journey where we dance with the art of contemplation on different topics. And I also do other offerings. I just did one on intentions for the new moon in Capricorn. So lots of moon and woo-woo stuff. And really grateful to be here. Thank you for having me, Melanie and Violet.
Love it. And yeah, I just saw somebody mention that it's an audio issue on Insight Timer. I did hear a few people say that for some reason the like end of whatever you're saying kind of trails off. So I have the mic really close to my face. So I don't know if that helps, but we'll get through it. Harley, a smile from heaven. Please introduce yourself. I feel like we're on the Hollywood squares.
Welcome. Hello and welcome. My name is Carly, Smile from Heaven, half of it anyway. The other half is my amazing husband, Jordan, who at some point will probably walk behind me. That's why I blurred the background because I'm downstairs today. It's 2025 already here in Australia, and I've just jumped off another live. Not that I was on the live, but I was listening to a beautiful meditation live here and realized that I wasn't ready. So you've got me in my jammies because it's 7 a.m. And I'm like, well, I'm showing up real and raw, no makeup, no hair, no bra, and my PJs here with all my beautiful favorite peeps, Violet, Melanie, Alejandro, and Myesha, and hopefully some new favorite peeps that I get to meet. Because I haven't met Spencer before, haven't met Sarah, haven't met Alison. Oh, John. Actually, I haven't met John before. So yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
You're in for a
Just
treat. You're
really
definitely in for a treat.
to
I
be
didn't
here.
realize that you hadn't met some of these people.
No, I'm super excited. So yeah, as I said, my name is Carly. I'm a creative arts therapist. And I love showing up here on Insight Timer in my real authentic self. Um, doing cacao ceremonies and creative lives. So very excited to be part of another amazing AYG. Thank you very much for inviting me, even though I said yes to not knowing what I was showing up to at what time.
I know. I love that you just said yes. And thank you for being here as you are. I love that too, that you show up as yourself. I am probably scared to come on here with my pajamas because I don't think anybody wants to see me in my pajamas, but that's maybe we'll have a pajama party one day.
Yeah, definitely. A pajama party means that Alejandro, you don't wear a hat.
Oh, but I like his hat. My son Dylan wears his hat like that all the time, and I love it. So when I see him like that, it makes me
I
think of
love
you.
his hat too. I love his hat too.
I always love my ex-husband used to get mad that my sons would wear the caps backwards. I loved it, and I was always supportive of it. I didn't care what he said.
Oh no, I love it backwards. I just meant like if I'm showing up in my pajamas with no bra, then he's got to show up with no hat.
That'd be like me showing up without makeup, and I don't know if I could do that. I'm not there yet. Allison, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Hello. 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 Okay, so I did go shower. I did do all the things because I was running around all day. I've got an extra 5 teenage boys coming over in a couple hours. So I need this in so many ways right now. Let's see. My title, intuitive transformational life coach. I mean, that's what I do, right? I'm highly intuitive. I've known things, I've seen things, I smell things, I've tasted things, I know things since I was a little girl. And I just stopped denying it probably about 20 years ago and got really active. And this is my full-time job now. I coach women primarily who are done trying and ready to start living the life that they are craving. So that's primarily what I do here on Insight Timer. I'm so excited because I get to do intuitive readings. I do them weekly on Fridays. So that's just such a joy for me and it pumps up my energy. So I also do meditation instruction. I host Reiki circles. I do circles for businesses here in Little Rock, Arkansas sometimes, which is really a lot of fun to get everyone kind of in the same energy collective space and knowing where they are, which is really quite lovely to be part of that. And I don't know, I'm just so thrilled. This is my second time I think I've done this with all of you. And this is just, I walk away with such a lovely feeling that selfishly, I'm so happy it's right before I get inundated by a bunch of teenage boys. So thank you all so much for this.
Excellent. Is it only the second time? I feel like I've had you on more. I don't know why. Maybe it's
only
just
the
because
second time.
I was gonna say, maybe it's because we all chat so much. I just feel like, I feel like we're always together, all of us.
I know. I know. But I'm looking forward to learning. I love to learn from everyone. That just fills me up. So thank you so much.
Excellent. And Spencer.
Hey everyone, Spencer Jones, aka the Prince of Positivity. I love helping people shine their true authentic light, right? Be energized, master your energy sovereignty. I'm not necessarily a coach, although I suppose I do coach people to a degree. We just have a whole ecosystem that helps people. And one of those components are our Insight Timer Lives that we do every Tuesday. Well, almost every Tuesday. We're going to the Philippines for one of our experience. So the next 2 weeks, I'm in the Philippines. We leave next week. But outside that, we're here Tuesdays. I know some of you here watching this and joining us have joined me. Thank you so much. This is my second time here. Really excited to be here again. Thank you so much for inviting me back. I didn't offend y'all too much the first time or overdose you with too much positivity. So I'm honored to be here a second time and just excited for the new year with all of you amazing people. So thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, that's true. Everyone here has been on here before. You were chosen on purpose. Sarah.
I was just trying to say, hello, Alan, to the chat. I was getting it all wrong on the chat. Hello, everyone. It's great to be back. We had a real blast on my first and last time that I was on Ask Your Guides, which was absolutely brilliant. We laughed rather a lot, which was brilliant. So I'm with Spencer on all the positive stuff, and obviously on with all the guides. So yeah, I'm Sarah Naylor. I'm in the UK. I am an executive coach and mentor, as well as obviously an Insight Timer teacher, and I like to bring everything positive to the table. I spent 36 years working in recruitment, latterly running my own 6-figure business. So I work as an executive coach and mentor with teachers, leaders, guides, entrepreneurs, and helping them navigate everything sort of from the personal to the professional and everything in between, holding that space for them to navigate all of that, whilst also doing all sorts of other things as well across the board. And I'm sure we'll touch on my Instagram account later, which I shouldn't mention, actually. Another on my alter ego, sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned there are other platforms. I'll get my arms slapped. But yeah, it's all about that energy. It's all about working with the energy, working with the flow, working with the quantum, working with positivity, because what you put out is what you attract back. So let's just chuck loads of positive into 2025, because it's going to be an awesome year. That's, 2024 was, for me, it was realignment after a very, very challenging 2023 when everything broke down. But I've been re-establishing, and I think 2025 is going to be a cracker. So it's wonderful to be back. And sorry for my cat misbehaving a while back, but I'm sure she'll be back to some more hijinks if the other one doesn't turn up shortly. So welcome, everybody. It's great to be here.
Excellent. Melanie, I'm going to move over to you because I want to leave John for last.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Melanie Underwood. I have been teaching culinary arts and blending it with mindfulness for 29 years. I've been on Insight Timer 1 year. Tomorrow was my first live. And I love to, bring people together to connect and converse through food. So I'm excited to be here. Can't wait to hear everybody's questions. I'm so grateful to each of you for being here, and Happy New Year.
I think I heard John say at his live that is it tomorrow is also your 1 year? So you both started the same, doing your lives the same. Yeah.
Know that.
I
January
heard him say it
2nd.
earlier.
Oh my gosh. No, I did mine on the first. How cool.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Michelle said
Ale-
an anniversary. I love it, Michelle. And a
Oh,
John
I love that. Yeah. That's awesome. And Alejandro, we're going to move over to you.
Hello, everyone. Hi, teachers. So happy to be here. My name is Alejandro. I am a health and wellness coach and a mindfulness and meditation teacher with over 10 years of experience in the mental health sphere, with a heart for authenticity and vulnerability, truly to embrace who we truly are, just as we are, whatever that looks like, whatever that sounds like. I've been on Insight Timer 3 years, a break in between. So my profile says I've been a little bit less than a year since February, and it's so awesome to be here with some of my favorite people in the Insight Timer sphere. Myesha, Carly, John, Melanie, and some new people, Spencer and Sarah and Alison. So hi everyone, welcome, and I am so honored to be here with all of you.
And I am thrilled to have you here. And before I move on to John, I'm going to introduce myself because I never do that. I don't know why. I just assume people know who I am. And, a lot of them might not. I'm Violet. I'm a tech geek. And I love doing these collaborations because I love hanging out with other teachers. I'm also an introvert. I know it doesn't look like it when I'm behind camera, but I really am. So I think that being on camera with all these wonderful, amazing teachers and all their energy just brings out the best in me. So this is why I love doing these. And I was saying earlier that I was working today, was looking forward to this all day. And about 20 minutes before we started, I sent John an email. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and I'm going to let him do what I asked him to, if he would be kind enough to do for us today. So, John.
Great. Thank you, Violet. Thank you, Violet and Melanie. And thank you, everyone. My name is John Steen. I'm an energy healing practitioner. I'm in San Francisco, California. And I've been on Insight Timer since around 2017. And my life fell apart in 2020. And I had stopped meditating in 2020 when the pandemic hit. And then I picked it up back in 2020. And just when Insight Timer started doing lives, and the lives have changed my life. And I started doing energy healing here on Insight Timer. I never knew anything really about it. But I had been trying to heal myself and my trauma my entire life and could never get to where I needed to go. And actually kind of resigned and gave up to thinking that I was always going to have to live feeling the way that I was feeling. And when my life falling apart was higher source saying, no, I have other plans for you. So what happened with energy healing for me is energy healing accelerates the healing. And I was able to get to my trauma within a couple of years that took me 30 to 40 years that I was trying to do. And so then I became certified with it. And now I'm here on Insight Timer celebrating my 1 year anniversary as well on January 2nd. And it's just a testament to the power of this app, the power of this community, the power of people, the power of energy healing, and the power of me being able to heal myself, trusting in myself and trusting in higher source, that it's not always up to me, no matter how hard I want to control something. And now I'll just slide right into what Violet asked me to do. And let's see. So as we prepare to let go of 2024 and step into the promise of 2025, this is a sacred moment to pause reflect, and honor the light within us and the light we bring to the world. This past year may have brought challenges, growth, transformation. Whatever it held for you, know that your light has been a guiding force, not just for yourself, but for those around you. In a world that sometimes feels uncertain, this Insight Timer community is a prime example of what it means to be the light. Each of us, through our presence, kindness, and our collective energy, contributes to a brighter, more compassionate world. So as we move into a new year, let's embrace the opportunity to shine even brighter, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to step fully into our roles as beacons of hope and love. Together, let's connect with our inner light and prepare to shine it boldly in the world in 2025. So I'm going to read a track that I'm going to release on January 20th. That is a big day here in America, and I was thinking of something to write for that day. And the track is called "The World Needs Your Light." It's a prayer for being a source of light. So this is how it will go. The world needs your light, your kindness, compassion, and the unique love you bring. Even in moments of darkness, you can illuminate the path for others and yourself. So take a deep breath in, feeling the spark of your light within. Exhale slowly and allowing it to grow brighter. So let's take this time to honor and nurture your light. So feel free to close your eyes. Divine light within and around me, thank you for the radiant energy that flows through me. May I remember that my light is unique, a reflection of the love and beauty I hold inside. In times of darkness, help me trust that my light can shine even brighter, bringing hope, warmth, and compassion to myself and others. Let my actions and words be guided by love, and may I inspire others to see the light within themselves. Help me release the fear of being seen and step into the world with confidence, knowing that my light matters. I am a vessel of love, hope, and healing, and I choose to shine even when it feels hard. And so it is. So now let's anchor this prayer with 3 affirmations that nurture your light and help you share it with the world. Allow these words to flow through you, igniting the power of your radiance and compassion. I am a radiant source of love and light. The world needs my light, and I shine it freely and boldly. Even in darkness, my light grows stronger and inspires others. So take a deep breath, letting these affirmations fill your heart and spirit. Carry their energy with you, knowing your light is a gift to the world and has the power to create ripples of love and hope. Take one more deep breath, feeling your light shining brightly from within. Trust that your light is always enough and that it has the power to transform not only your life, but the lives of others. The world needs your light, especially in times of darkness. Go forward with courage, love, and knowledge that your radiance is a gift. And shine brightly. You are a beacon of hope. Namaste.
That was beautiful, John. I can't wait to hear the track when did you say that you put it out yet, or
No, January 20th, it'll come out.
are they going to time it right? You know how
Oh,
sometimes
I'm
it's
gonna
like timer.
ask for it that day.
Yeah, it can't hurt, right? I would definitely ask for them to keep an eye
Yeah.
on it. All right. So I'm gonna let Melanie introduce our first question.
Thank you, Violet. Well, Violet had a question that she posed to us before this live. And if anybody was like me, I forgot. So I thought this was a great question, though. Sarah, you had said she had two. I only have the one. What's the one thing that you learned in 2024? And what could you pass on to other people? Sarah, go for it.
I've got to unmute myself. Well, I think there was a combination question, wasn't there, really? It was like, what's the one thing you've covered in 2024 or before, or the one tool or tip that's helped you and you'd suggest to other people? Well, I want to kind of answer both at the same time, to say that one of the key things, and I really learned it in 2023, and I've had to relearn it, but not quite so dramatically, and that's the art of just surrendering and letting go and trusting the process. During 2023, when everything was breaking down around me and I was trying to control the outcome, I was trying to make things happen, I was trying to push things through, I ended up putting so much pressure on myself. I mean, everything was breaking down. I wasn't making the reality up, but it was the pressure that I'd put on myself. And as soon as I let go of that, despite all the stuff I'd done over the last 20 years of all the learning and everything, but everything had accumulated and crashed at the same time. But once I actually let go, then you can start to work with that energy and you can work with that flow. Everything falls into place because you're then working with the universal energy. You're not pushing against anything. Once you are accepting of the outcome, or you're expecting the unexpected, you're not having an attachment to the outcome of anything that you're doing. And I know it takes a lot of practice and it takes a lot of consistency, but just let go, just surrender and trust the process in anything and everything that you do from every waking moment, because we don't really know what's going to happen from one minute to the next. I mean, we're all here now, turned up, and we're doing a live. Who knows? You could have an almighty power cut and everything goes, and you just don't know, do you? We really don't know. And then you think, well, okay, well, what can I do with that time that I wouldn't have had before? Or how can I make this work? What's the positive perspective? What can I do? How can I shift the way that I look at things? Because that's the key. When you shift that perspective as well, which brings me on to the other answer, is the tool and the tip that anybody can take away with them. And that's that shifting of perspective, that reframe. The power of the reframe is transformational, because as soon as you shift your perspective on anything that you are thinking, any situation, anything that you are coming up against, and you take the learning. I was working with a coaching client this morning, and there was some stuff that we were talking around. And I said, well, we just changed that. Let's reword that. We were referring to things of being triggers. And I said, well, trigger's quite a negative word, isn't it? And whoever's triggering you is actually a messenger. So there's a gratitude for that person bringing something to you, for you to be presented with not a challenge, but a sort of an opportunity to learn and to look at things from a different perspective. So the reframe in everything, whatever you're doing, look at it, shift it, reword it, use a different word, and it takes the weight out of things. That's my takeaway for anybody. Just reframe it, take a breath, take a step back, and look at something with a different perspective, because it can change everything instantaneously. Run out.
I love that you said that about the word trigger. I was telling somebody that I'm tired of hearing trigger, narcissist, and what's the other one? Toxic. And it's only because I have family members that use it all the time and I want to choke them.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
No, that's fine. Because those words, you've just used the word narcissist, and unfortunately, I've had to deal with a lot of that.
And
in
I
my
know a lot
life.
of people who have. I just feel like in my family, it's like, you're either a narcissist or you're toxic or you're triggering me. And I'm like, please, people, take those 3 words out of your. And this is not like my kids, but like my siblings. And they're constantly accusing everybody of being a narcissist. Or
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with that word, is that people use it without actually understanding what a true narcissist is. And I did a lot of research in somatic healing on that last year. And when you know what a narcissist is, it's not a word that you bandy about lightly. It really isn't.
Absolutely.
It really isn't, and neither is toxic either. But I mean, I've that share of
No,
both.
I agree with you. They're very valid words. I just feel like they're being so abused now by a lot of people.
Exactly. Well, you've just reminded me of something that I think is a top tip for that reframe. Is that looking at some I can never say that word, synonyms, because I was talking about my positive cultivating positive vibes course, which is obviously on Insight Time. That's doing really well at the moment. But when I was recording it, it kept on going backwards and forwards because of the sound. And I was talking to somebody about it, and he said, "Well, you could use some different words." Well, I want to use those. But synonyms for those words that you were just discussing, and for reframing, are a great way of finding different words to bring about the positive from a negative word.
Absolutely. I love reframing.
Oh, I do. Powerful stuff.
Spencer, our other positive person. The two of you are sitting next to each other.
It's kind of crazy. It's almost a little overwhelming in this corner of the Zoom room, but I love it. Love sharing all that energy. Thinking about this last year, like what the takeaway was for me, or one of the realizations, was to stay aligned. And that was something that I was reminded of in 23, right? To stay aligned with who I am, with where I'm going, make sure the people and everything I do in life is aligned. But, I thought I learned that in 23 and I was doing pretty good. Although in 24, a couple months ago, there were people in my life who were close to me, who I realized, okay, our paths have been separating, right? I realized this at some point, like, okay, our paths are separating, but we'll give it some time yet. We'll give it some time yet, right? And just cause that resistance and stress between us, although we didn't necessarily verbalize it until it was blatantly obvious and it needed to be addressed, right? And so then it caused more pain and frustration and suffering and all that. And what I realize is I need to make sure I stay alert and attuned to what is in alignment with me. And that, like you said, toxic, narcissist, right? Those are buzzwords that are overused. Alignment's one of those words too that's almost overused to that degree. But if you look at, does it make sense to you with where you're going? Is it aligned? Is it resonate with you? Whatever you want to choose to call it. If it makes sense to you, keep it. If it doesn't, get rid of it, right? Or separate yourself from it in a nice way or a fast way or whatever it is. But also know that sometimes some people, some things in your life, in your journey, will resonate that and will be aligned. And then at some point, they might not be. Your paths separated. Just be aware of it. Don't judge it. Try not to resist it. That's a hard part. But just observe and be aware of it and then go, okay, what do I need to do to follow my true path, my aligned pathway going forward, and try not to get, not I would say suckered into, but leaning into those not aligned people, places, and things. So that's been a lesson for me, and been a little cornerstone. I have it up there on the wall behind the screen to remind me, always be aligned.
I'm just going to say that's so beautiful, but I will, when you first said it, I thought you said alive. And
Alive's good too. Like if you're alive and living, that's a bonus. I appreciate that. Like the same. So please stay alive this year and 25.
Well, ironically, I was like, oh my God, Sarah and Spencer are like combining my two things because I had a cancer diagnosis this past year. So I was like, alive. I love this. I'm like someone else. Carly and then Alejandro.
Oh, now I've got to unmute myself. I can't remember what the original question was, but it was obviously something about what was our takeaway from 2024.
Yeah, or a tip that, something you learned, or a tip that that you want to share with other people that could help.
So for me, I totally resonate with everything that Sarah and Spence both said. I do agree that there's so many words that have been overhyped and stuff. But in saying that, there are necessary words that need to be used as well for certain people to describe it as well. I find my issue with those people are the ones who are using those words that aren't doing the work, that don't realize that they are the problem.
Yeah,
That's the issue with those words. But my biggest takeaway for 2024 was that not everybody around us is meant to evolve. Not everybody around us is here to change. Not everybody around us is ready to be like ready for their own growth or their own healing. And it's actually not up to us to try to not force them, try to save them. And that they're a part of our own lessons that what non-growth looks like. And as people who are on a growth journey, it is really hard for us to sit back and watch that. Because we know what the alternative looks like and feels like. And it's ingrained in us as light workers to want to save other people and to encourage them into their own sovereignty, into their own wholeness. Yes, like Jordan's saying, but not at our own detriment. And it's that has.
Are you sure that's Jordan, or is that a voice from beyond?
Yeah, that's Jordan. Did you not see him walk past and give me my morning kiss?
I just heard a voice.
Yeah, he's sitting there having his breakfast. So, but yeah, it's just, for me, that was the biggest thing, is to realize that everybody is on their own journey and on their own path at their own speed or lack of growth and healing, and to just fully be aware that it's okay for us to step back and allow them. And that new book that you're reading, Violet, I think has come in at the right time in this world. Just the whole let them do what they need to do. You be you, let them be them. Don't try to force, don't try to change, don't try to, don't just, for me, it was stop watering dead plants. Yeah. Because there's only so much that you can do before you start emptying your own cup. So, yeah, I'm all for supporting. I'm all for growth. I'm all for healing. I'm all for supplying tools and encouraging as much as I can, but not to my own detriment. And certainly have realized that there are just a lot of people on this planet that are just not ready to step up for themselves. And that is okay, because they're living their life through their narrative of their own unhealed journey. And it's okay for us to let them do that. That's been my biggest takeaway.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, Jordan's has been.
Watch the energy. Read energy. People can say they've done this. We've just run into a person online. Oh, yes, I'm doing this, and this. And you see them in person, and I knew she wasn't anyway. But you see them in person, they're absolute mess. They've done none of the work, but they feed off your energy. So be careful of what energy you're giving out to you, because people will live off that.
Alejandro says Jordan remain peanut gallery, and I love him for it.
Sorry, you need to put me on mute. Violet, you need to put me on mute.
I'm laughing because she's got this blurred background and this voice is just coming through. And then I see his comments.
Not even in the photo. Even if I unblurred my background, he's not even there.
I know.
Not even there. He's over on the other side of the room.
He's the voice from beyond.
So that's the a smile from heaven.
People
from Australia.
Need to stop kidding themselves too and actually do the work.
Yeah.
Love it.
Moving on. Next person.
That's Alejandro.
Hi, Jordan. Welcome to the live. Love you. My biggest takeaway from 2024, and the one thing that I would offer to others, is show up. Just show up. Sometimes in our healing journey, we have this misconceptions or these ideas of how we're supposed to show up to the healing space. How we're supposed, even us as healers, how we're supposed to show up into our healing space, and as a healer, and in that process, we miss the chance to actually show up. We put ourselves in a situation, and we put ourselves in these ideas and these perceptions that we need to have it all figured out, that I need to be hurting enough or not hurting enough to be able to step into the mat or step into the meditation cushion, or to reach out. Just show up. Show up just as you are. And that's something that for me, as a healer, as a teacher, as a coach, there has been some of my best lives here on Insight Timer. I have shown up with grief. I have shown up with personal issues that I wanted to cancel the live, because I had actually shared this in one of my life. I had a huge argument like 10 minutes before, or not argument, but deep discussion with a friend, and I was feeling really misunderstood, and I didn't want to show up, and I showed up and I shared just as I was, and it was one of the most profound lives and experiences I've had here. So if there's something I have learned in 2024, is to show up just as I am and to truly embody authenticity. Sometimes we hear the word authenticity, we hear the word vulnerability, which is two of my favorite phrases. Sorry if it's triggering for anyone. We show up with our tears. We show up just as we are. And sometimes when we talk about authenticity, we think about our higher self. I'm going to show up as my higher self. So if I am not at my higher self, if I am not there yet, I'm going to step back. I'm not going to show up. And that is something that in the past was a thing for me. I had this perception of how I needed to show up. And I feel like I've missed a lot of opportunities by just not showing up. And if I would have just shown up just as I was, who knows what would have happened. So my encouragement for 2025 is to continue to show up just as you are. And that energy of showing up, that willingness to show up, the universe sees that, spirit sees that, and it brings that healing. It brings that support. It brings whatever it is that you need. It starts to manifest whatever it is that you've been trying to manifest. And I've said this before, the manifestation becomes something organic, not something you have to work on. Once you step and once you start to show up just as you are, and you're truly in this journey, whatever that looks like, whatever that sounds like, you show up and the universe reads that energy, and you start to truly collaborate with the universe and with spirit. It's not a one thing. It's not a me trying to make things happen. It's a we are trying to make this happen. We are working towards something, whatever that is. So show up. That's my encouragement for 2025. Show up just as you are with your mess. I'm showing up from my childhood room because I didn't have time, because I was the person who woke up like 45 minutes before the live, because I was recording till 7 a.m. So I am too in my jammies. And Carly, just FYI, it is winter here, and I sleep with a beanie. So if I show up for the PJ party, I'm gonna show up with a beanie. So anyways, just show up just as you are, and truly embrace the reality of who you are. And it is okay. Who you are today is okay. There might be some mending that needs to happen, some healing that needs to happen, but even those open wounds are still beautiful. There is wisdom in the open wounds. Sometimes we focus so much on, oh, I want to scar this. I want this to be a scar. I want this to be something of the past, that we neglect the beautiful process of what healing truly means. And I know healing, sometimes it's hard and it's tough, but it's so worth it. So just show up to your practice, show up to your life, just so you stay alive and show up to your life just as you are, and honor that. So that's my 5 cents for to answer the question.
That was beautiful. And I just want to add that Alejandro is the reason I'm no longer afraid to cry on camera.
No one is afraid of the camera because of Alejandro,
I was going to say, yeah, because of him, yes.
which is amazing. And it's not just on camera. I think so many people, Alejandro, value that, because when you do that, showing up, being you, it tells everyone else, you know what? I can do that too.
Right. And in our daily lives, and I'm sorry to jump in real quick, but it is, I've said this before, and it's on my course here in Insight Timer, but vulnerability begets vulnerability. It's a cry. It's an innate thing. So if I show up just as I am, as light, because we are all light, and the light is always shining. So if my light, if I show up with the authenticity of who I am, others are attracted to that. And it's, you give yourself permission to be just as you are, but you're also inviting others to give themselves permission to show up just as they are. And that's something that I have experienced in my personal relationships, in my professional relationship. If I show up just as I am, you begin to see other people showing up just as they are, and it becomes this beautiful energy. And then love, it's truly love. You're no longer trying to love others. You're sharing this love between those who are around you. So yes, showing up, it's again, it's my offering, and it's my encouragement and my invitation. In 2025, those of you who are already in 2025, congratulations, happy new year. Those of us who are going to enter into 2025 soon, go forth and show up. Just show up and see what happens. See how you can collaborate with the universe and with spirit, and allow yourself to experience not only the what if, but truly to embody just showing up as you are.
Thank you. That is beautiful. Alison.
Okay, how do I follow that? I mean, really? 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 I mean, maybe I'm just going to start crying. Let's just do that.
Go for it.
I cry all the time on here. You can, I'm a boo-hooer for sure. Well, it's kind of a ditto situation here. Ditto, 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 all the things. So one of my big things for this year was, and it's kind of a piggyback on some of what everyone has said, but is the only outcome I am in charge of is my own. I am not in charge of my kids' outcome, my husband's outcome, my parents, my friends, my neighbors, yours. The only outcome I am in charge of and responsible for is my own. And I'm not going to give that up. But I will teach that and mentor that. And I have recognized that so much this year. And it really was awoken because of my kids. My kids showed me how they are showing up for themselves and how I've taught them how to do this. And it was hard, but incredible. So that was huge, 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 huge. And it's one of these situations where, and I think it was Sarah, the whole reframing piece, which I love, and I call that change your story, right? It's your story to change, to edit, to start a new chapter, whatever it is for you. The other piece is that everyone is going to go through something heavy. Every single one of us, multiple times, probably even, right? But when you can meditate, you can journal, you can energy work, you can do all of the things, but you have to invoke the time for the healing and allow the healing time. It's not a quick fix. Sometimes it can happen in an instant, but sometimes it takes weeks, days, months, even years, sometimes decades for some. You know, decades has been my new word for this year, because talking with clients and even looking at myself and some of the healing, I'm like, why have I been holding on to that for decades? I mean, that speaks volumes when we can recognize how long we are not allowing the healing, right, to penetrate and to soften some of those hard edges that we're carrying with us. And that's okay. Some things are going to take a little bit more time, right? Carly had mentioned that, right? So we are all on our own path, and we will have that moment when we are meant to have the moment. but allow ourselves to have that moment. You know, I was having a conversation recently with someone, and she's like, I just want you to give me a handbook that tells me exactly what I need to do to fix this. I'm like, well, let me know if you find it. Because there's more services, there's more words written about healing that we can tap into today. It's finding that thread that fits for you right now, that will speak with you and help you almost untangle your threads. One of the other pieces I've learned too, is there's so much judgment and shame because people are sitting back. Instead of allowing the healing to see what needs to happen for them, they're like, all right, I'm going to sit back. I've told my husband exactly what he needs to do, so I'm happy. I'm like, and how's that working out for you? Right? And, or my spouse, whoever, my kid, you know, it's your choice where you are and who you're spending time with. Right? And relationships are allowed to change. Why? Because we are changing every single day. Every day. I am not the woman I was yesterday. And I'm not going to be the woman who I am today, tomorrow. Because I will continue to heal and grow and expand and do the things. But one of the key elements I've really learned, not just about the outcome piece, is that I can change my relationships with my past feelings. I might have been so angry and so frustrated and so hurt and traumatized by something that happened that was so real. But through my process of healing, I can soften some of those edges from the past, get curious to understand who some of those players were, and offer more grace and compassion. Because not only do I have it for myself, maybe for some of my missteps, but I can allow some of that compassion and grace as somebody else will continue to learn, grow, and heal in their time frame. But it doesn't mean I have to stick around for everything, right? Sometimes we do need to move forward. We do. And sometimes it's not with everyone we thought it would be with. So there we go. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Actually, what I had written down was really tied into what you said. I think Alison, Alejandro, Sarah, Spencer, I said, who you are, this is what I learned, who you are today doesn't define who you are. And I think that's just something so important for all of us to remember, that at any moment you can change, you can rewrite, you can do whatever you need to do for you. And Dina wrote in the chat to someone, to Bex, you are perfect right now. And right now you are. Sarah.
I am back. You know me. If I've got 3 words, I'll find 300. But I was writing some notes down while everybody was talking, because everybody's been saying is absolutely brilliant. And there was just a few things that sort of jumped out that, again, I think can help everybody that's listening. Is that, you know, obviously Alejandro was saying about that sort of turning up and showing up. And it's that progress over perfection. It doesn't matter. The perfection is in the imperfection. We're not all meant. What is perfection anyway? It's only other people's ideas that they're trying to tell us how we ought to be. And that's transference. And it's just, we've got to be ourselves. That's when you're coming back to that uniqueness, that sort of authenticity, and just turning up and showing up and being who you are. And then there's that gratitude for those challenges along the way, the people that have, you know, created the word, let me use the trigger word, triggered you, because actually they are messengers. They're people that are giving us opportunities. They're teachers. It might not look like it, but there's opportunities there for us to learn and to grow. And as you've just said, Manny, we know we aren't the person that we necessarily show up as. You know, we aren't our behavior, and we can change our behavior, because that is it. We can't, and we should never try and change anybody else. One of the key things when I trained and qualified as a coach 12 years ago, one of the fundamental parts is ask, not tell. You never tell anybody what to do, because nobody's ever going to follow what you think's right for them, because their internal world, how they experience the world, everything is very different to how you are. And what fires you up isn't going to be the same as them. So it's finding your own way. And somebody else said about that, it's feeling into who you are and identifying that and being able to own that, but be your own person without expecting somebody else to change for you. You can only change your response, your behavior around them. So if something isn't, if it's not working for you, if something's flashing up, it's, well, how is that? Why is that? Questioning, being curious, and really sort of getting inside it, exploring, what does that look like? Why am I feeling like this? What is it about that person or this situation that's making me feel that way? How can I adjust? How can I reframe it and experience X, Y, and Z in a different way? Or just let go of those people that, as you say, no longer serve. So yeah. And you said about the modality, that book, didn't you, Alison, about somebody saying, it's like, well, where's the book? Where's the manual? You've got to go inward. You've got to find the right modality that's going to work for you. Some people, well, it doesn't work for me. Well, no, somebody hypnotherapy might work for, but it might not work for somebody else. But, EFT might do, or deep meditation, or shamanic stuff. There's so much out there, but it's all down to how we learn and how we access information. So you've got to try all these different things. And it's all about the journey after all, isn't it? So it's just get out there, be yourself, embrace stuff. And just be yourself, really. Sorry, just a few things that dropped into my very busy mind while everybody was talking.
Oh, thank you. Myesha.
Hey, thank you. This is amazing. I love this conversation. So much of what everyone has said has resonated so deeply. And what came up for me when you all were talking about change, and we're always changing and evolving, my Reiki master that I practice with, she always says that alchemy is just making a different decision, a different choice. And so when I look back on this year and I look at all the new choices I made, all the new decisions that I made this year, because I had this vision of myself, right? And like for so long, this vision of myself wasn't matching who I was. And it's because I was continuing to do the same things over and over and over and make the same choices. My habits, my routines, they weren't making space for this vision that I had in my mind of myself. And so literally this year at the end of last year, I committed to just making new choices, like just try something different. And like as an embodiment coach, like as long as it's taking me so many years, it's taken me to feel safe in my body. Like now I can like literally lean into my body's wisdom, really listen to like the whispers that come from when I'm still and when I'm silent, and when my nervous system is like responsive and like calm, right? And I can hear this wisdom that I wasn't able to hear before. And so like my what has really come through for me is just to try making some different decisions, like make space for the dreams and the visions that you have. And also the other thing that's come through so strong for me this year is like I can spend so much time, even though I'm an embodiment practitioner, I'm a Gemini rising, and I spend a lot of time in the ethers and the woo woo, right? Like, and my dreams need containers. Like our visions and our dreams need containers. They need, in order for them to be manifested and to come into form, they need containers. And so like I can say that I see myself as this particular businesswoman and I'm reaching this many people, but if my habits and my behaviors aren't showing that, if I'm not building the discipline, the devotion in my daily practices, and I'm not making different decisions, I'm not being courageous and trying something different, then it's not going to be surprising if I have the same result, right? And I'm then reaching a new year, reflecting back on the same stuff that I really wanted to let go of. And so, yeah, my takeaway from this year and my sharing for anybody who it would help is just to try different stuff and make some different choices, right? And see how it goes. We're all practicing here. As like Alejandro said, like my goal was to start using my voice and sharing my gifts authentically when I had shut it off for so many years of my life due to trauma and just a whole bunch of other stuff. And my first Inside Timer Live, I was terrified. And every single time I go on Inside Timer Live, I'm practicing. I'm just practicing being my authentic self, right? Like this is how you do it. You just show up. And so I really love what Alejandro said. Just show up. Just show up as you are, and know that what you have done in the meantime to prepare to get there. If you're there at that moment where you can press that start live button, then you are prepared to start that live. So thank you all for hearing me out. Happy 2025.
Yeah. I think, Myesha, that's so important to remind people, especially, a lot of new teachers will write to me and be like, oh my God, I'm afraid to do a live. And I don't know if Caitlin is in here. I was really encouraging Caitlin to do lives because she has something so unique. And I know it's easy for me to say because I do perform live for many people for a long time. But for me, when I go live, I am my most authentic self and I feel the best about myself. And so all the things that are in my head go away. And I feel so connected to everyone when I'm on a live because any of that, whatever, just diminishes. That's part of why I love lives.
I'm a little opposite because the first time I went live, and probably for the first 6 months, I was terrified because I'm such an introvert that I had to force myself to do it. And I used to get so much anxiety beforehand. It was crazy. I mean, I like would get off to the live and have to go take a nap afterwards because that's how wound up I was. I love people like you who are like natural. Like I used to watch these teachers and I was like, wow, they're so natural. How can I be like that? And I finally just said to myself, just do it. Just put yourself out there, apply to be a teacher because I was terrified and step outside your comfort zone. And I find the more I do it, the calmer I've gotten. But there's still times, I mean, where I feel anxious beforehand. And as I'm here with everybody else, it goes away. And it's been a great confidence builder for me. So for the people out there who are like me, who are introverts, I always say, just do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's how I did it. That's my tip.
And also, my tip is always, you are the expert in whatever you're talking about. So just go for it.
Well, you are the expert in whatever you're talking about. I'm not.
You're the expert about what you talk about.
I make stuff up.
That's okay. It's Carly, and then Alejandro, and then Spencer.
I just wanted to say a big and at the end. So for me, what Alejandro said, showing up. Show up angry, show up sad, show up messy, show up whatever. And then following on from what Myesha said about making different choices as well, there's a big showing up consistently. For me, that's my keyword is consistently. Because if you show up for yourself, and I'm talking about for yourself, for your growth, for your healing, if you step into your higher self or your meditation or anything once a month, and that's it, and you're not doing anything else, and then complaining or, upset that nothing's changing, it's because you're not showing up consistently. For me, making space every day for those choices, for trying those different things, like what Myesha was saying, for doing those different parts of our toolbox. It's a consistently every single day. It only needs to be 2 minutes, 5 minutes at minimum. It doesn't have to be hours on end, but consistently every single day, because it's those tiny little small steps that make the biggest difference. Those tiny little small choices to do this instead of this. To showing up consistently for yourself every single day. Like, honestly, it has been, for me, the biggest thing. And one of the parts, there's so many parts about Insight Timer that I love, but one of the parts is the tracker. And I don't have my phone in front of me right now, but I think it was like, for me, it's currently at 1,445 days. And that's not a competition for anybody else. It shows me that 1,446 days ago was when I had my breakdown. So it shows me that I have consistently shown up for myself every single day for 1,445 days, because I'm the only one that's going to be able to do the work to help myself. So showing up, making the choices to try different things and being consistent about it. Because if you're not seeing results, it's because you haven't taken full accountability for the fact that you're not showing up consistently enough for yourself. And that's me calling everybody out. Because that's ask Michelle on here. I've got this great way of just calling everybody out on their own BS and making sure that people don't just blame everything else around them, that they have to take accountability for themselves, because it's not up to anybody else to come and do the work. Nobody's coming to save you. It's up to us to save ourselves. So yeah, I'm calling everybody out. If you're not showing up for yourself every day, at least 2 minutes every day, start making that one little shift in 2025 and see what happens.
Alejandro?
Yes, and to showing up, it's and Myesha, this was my word for 2024. I know we'll probably get into our words or our intention for 2025 a little bit, but my word for 2024 was actually came to me in one of Myesha's lives. I was at Chipotle, and as soon as she turned on the live, I started crying. And yes, I am a crier, but just kudos to Myesha, because Myesha is a sneaky one. I'll cry with you, but Myesha has a way of setting up the atmosphere even before she press the start live. And as soon as she goes live, the energy of healing is there. But anyways, that's not what I want to talk about. But I wanted to talk about also my word for 2024 was devotion. And that goes to showing up and truly being intentional. I think sometimes in our journey, we see the healing journey as this chore, as something we have to do if we want to heal. And it becomes something that I know for me, it has been, there's been seasons that I'm like, okay, let me go meditate because, it's part of the journey, or let me go do yoga because it's part of the journey, or let me go, pray my quiet time. It's something I have to do. And it's talking about what, Sarah, I think and Alison talked about, that shifting of perspective. I don't have to, I get to show up. And in that get to, in transforming and shifting from having to do it to wanting and loving to do it, then the discipline becomes a devotion. And you devote yourself to the healing journey. You devote yourself to loving yourself so much because you've learned to like yourself. And you've gone through the process of feeling comfortable in your body, which, like Myesha said, it's been years of finding the voice and finding the being comfortable and embodying who I am today, even with my human condition. I hate using the word flawed because, we say, oh, we're perfectly flawed, but we're still saying that there's something negative in who I am. There's something that is off in who I am. Being human is being human, and it sounds and it looks very different for all of us. So truly shifting that the healing journey from discipline to devotion becomes this journey of love, of I love myself enough to show up today. I love others enough to show up today to the quiet place, to the secret place, to the intimate place. So I wanted to add to, I feel like we're putting puzzles together, and I wanted to add to what everyone had said, and truly changing that perspective. So I have to show up I get to show up, and it becomes the difference between discipline and devotion. And it is a process. The shifting becomes a process, but it is a process of love, and it's a process of truly embracing the reality of who we are right here and right now. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Spencer. Thank you, Alejandro.
We're going to put a pin in this just for a moment. We'll come right back to it. I don't know who needs to hear this. No clue. But you are loved. You are loved. Okay, coming back to it. So comparison, someone mentioned like you're enough, and I'm thinking, I don't know, my mind went to comparison. I forget who mentioned it, that triggered that word in a positive way to talk about comparison. Because you're all saying yes and no, but we're just going no buts from here on out. Because butts are fun. Anyway, so let's talk, and we're back off track. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So it's a time of year. I was thinking about this today. Time of year when people are sharing their wins. They're sharing the successes, right? The year in review type things, which is amazing. And I love seeing people's wins. I love hearing your wins, celebrating with you. But if you're like me, at least how I used to be more so, I've noticed this yesterday with myself, I would start comparing myself with them, with their wins. Well, why am I not at that point? I didn't have those experiences yet. Right? And start belittling myself and getting myself down, as opposed to going, well, hold up here. Like, I look at my wins, but it's not a comparison game. We're on our own journeys. We're at different points in our journey, and that's a beautiful thing. Let me celebrate them and enjoy their wins and share love and light with them, as I hope they do with me. Not everybody does with me, and that's cool, but I get to embrace my journey. I could celebrate others. No one talked about really comparison at all today, and I don't know why. Just like someone mentioned something that made me think of it. I'm like, I just want to share a little bit about comparison. So there you go. There's my take on a question nobody asked.
I think you were reading my mind, because comparison was coming to my mind. I think it was Alison's live earlier today, and there was a question about, or no, maybe I'm sorry, maybe it was Lauren's. I went to so many lives today. But there was a question about what you wanted to bring in and what you wanted to release. And I said that I wanted to let go of expectations. And then I explained expectations of wanting other people to behave the way that I would, or respond the way I would. And then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? It's not the expectation that I need to release, it's the comparison. So I think you were reading my mind. Just had to throw that in there.
I appreciate that. Could very well be. Well, there's an interesting thing is that you could take the Buddhist approach too. Comparison, is a thief of joy, right? That saying that goes, but it leads to suffering. And I love that. Okay, maybe it's comparison, or maybe it's expectations, right? Expectations lead to suffering. So maybe it's not expectations. It was the comparisons. I love that you differentiated the two, and just to see. And I work at letting go of expectations. It's a work in progress, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. And you're loved. I'm good. Someone else can chat.
Love it.
Sarah.
Sarah, I think you're up, right?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to jump in on what you were saying about comparison, because it just sort of reminded me back many, many, many years ago how when I was working in recruitment, I used to compare myself and where I was and what I was doing with other people, and why are they being successful? Why, all those comparisonitis questions. And I think it was around that time that I then sort of embraced. I think I embraced Reiki as well, and then I did EFT. We're talking about obviously Insight Timer and all the healers and all the work that can be done, and we talk about the inner work. And as a coach, I can work with people, but actually, there's also lots of things that you can do. When we were talking about the modalities, Alison, that you can use, that you can clear those energy blockages that cause all of that. So I went and had some EFT. I think I can't remember what part it was, but anyway, I went and had some EFT with my Reiki master. And it was just like suddenly that, whatever it was, because I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing. And sometimes it's really difficult because you can't identify what it is to perhaps go in with NLP or anything else to go and work out what that is. But there's obviously a blockage within that energy. And it was just like, it was tapped out to me. And then suddenly, like the next day, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to set up my own limited company then. I'll just go and do it. Whereas before I'd be like, well, maybe I should be doing this or should be doing that. So, oh, well, no, I'm doing it now. So, people out there listening, just embrace different modalities, see what works. And if you've got a blockage, you don't understand it, you haven't got to spend months and years sometimes trying to work it out. Just go and speak to somebody who is an energy healer, who can work with that, who can unblock it. And it was just like one session. It was like, oh my God. And the similar thing happened when I was similar, but I'm just talking about Reiki. when I was with an ex-partner it was part of my behavior. But going back to narcissists, I realized a couple of years ago that my ex-husband was a narcissist who I was with for 20 years, and my son's a narcissist who I've now not spoken to for a couple of years. But prior to that, all of that had been in another challenging relationship, and I could never understand why I was always putting other people before myself, because I wanted to, I suppose, people please. And again, I went and had some Reiki, and it just changed, not Reiki, some EFT, and it just changed it. It just unblocked something that I didn't understand why I was behaving in that way. It cleared that energy. It didn't change who I was as a person, but it released that blocked energy, allowed things to flow. But she did say at one point, right at the beginning, at the time, look, if we do this, it might mean the end of your relationship. And I had to step into that and say, well, look, I cannot continue to behave this way. If that's the case, that's the case, because I cannot. And this is what you're saying about being true to yourself, because we can only change our own behavior. I knew that that wasn't serving me any purpose. So I had to do that work. And 9 months later, about 4 weeks before my 50th, he just left over a weekend. There was no sort of discussion about it. Just packed his bags and went. It was like, oh, okay, fine. And you're talking about sort of standing into it, Alejandro, and I just had to go ahead and organise. I've been in a relationship for 5.5 years, and somebody's just it off and left me to it. And you just have to roll with it and just put your big girl pants on and crack on. So, anyway, I think I've gone off at a bit of a tangent, but my point being that there are modalities, there is energy work, there's things that you can do, even if you don't understand why.
I was about to say, I forgot the question, but thank you for clarifying.
No, it was Spencer saying about comparison, and that's where I went, was that, there are all of these amazing tools and techniques, all these teachers on Insight Time. There's so many people doing so many different things. Whatever resonates, pick it up, try it, work with it. But you have got to believe in it for it to work. Because if you're going into something going, well, that's not going to work, guess what? It won't. You've got to want to do it. It's the inner work. Over and out.
Thank you. I don't know who was next, but let's go with Alison and then Alejandro.
So, Sarah, you just took all the puzzle pieces that we've been talking about and put them all together in an example. So thank you for being vulnerable, which then led you to be authentic. And then you were telling us about the modalities, and you were talking about how you were showing up, and you showed up in that session, right? And it worked. And you're in the flow, and you weren't comparing yourself, and you were loving, and you were open, and you were expanding and opening that space to see what is it that's going to happen, right? Because your outcome was yours. And so it shows that beauty of how when we show up in our vulnerability, right, Alejandro, and we're 100% focused on ourself for our outcome, knowing that we could be in the wrong. We're not perfect, right? Perfection is a smile, is the bite of food. It's the picture on that smile that you have, or that perfect candid photo, the sunset moment, the sunrise, those beautiful elements. And it's just showing how all of that comes together. And then the healing can truly begin. So thank you. I just had to kind of bring all that. I'm like, oh my God, all these puzzle pieces are literally starting to connect. Yay.
Excellent.
Alejandro. You're muted. All that beautiful wisdom we can't hear.
There we go. Sorry, I
I
apologize.
could feel it.
I was saying, I don't know if this is part of the puzzle, but hopefully it is, at least for someone listening. I know the word narcissism has come up several times out of comments, right? But I really want to, in our healing journey, especially those of us who have been in relationship with narcissists, romantic relationships or familiar relationships, or even friendships, or even at work, professional relationships, or even those of us who have had behaviors of a narcissist. Narcissism is a trauma response. And in our healing journey, a lot of times we find ourselves healing from all of this hurt, words, actions, or inactions of someone who might exhibit narcissistic tendencies and behaviors. When we understand, and I've said this before in my lives and in Ask Your Guides before, but when we understand that people are doing the best they can with what they have, we're able to forgive, not to justify their behavior, their actions, their words, or their inactions, or their lack of words, but to give ourselves the freedom to continue to be just as we are. What people say and do, it's really about them, not you. So if you are in a relationship that is with someone who exhibits or is a narcissist, if you yourself find yourself exhibiting certain behaviors that are narcissistic in description, know that you're doing the best you can and others are doing the best they can with what they have. That's not to justify those actions or inactions, but to understand that there is forgiveness in that. To understand that although we have healed today, does not mean that we were healed 3-4 years ago, 3-5 months ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 hours ago. In the process of healing, just know that number one, there is hope, and that boundaries are beautiful, and that you can love people from afar, and that you can allow yourself to separate yourself from those things. And I just wanted to say that because the word has come up in different comments, and just know that we're all doing the best we can with what we have, and that boundaries are beautiful, and that we can love from afar, and we can love ourselves enough to separate ourselves if that's necessary, and that there's always hope. As if there's a heartbeat in your chest, if someone is alive, there's hope, because the heartbeat only means that there is still purpose, that there's still divine identity in that person. And we behave the way we behave because of a lot of different things. And I know John has been through a beautiful healing journey of healing different wounds, and he have taken all of us with him in his own process. So thank you, John, for doing that in 2024 and for allowing us to truly sort of jump into your journey with you of healing certain wounds of mother wound and father wound. So just know that a narcissistic behavior, it's really a trauma response. And if there is a heartbeat in that chest, there is still hope and there is still purpose to be had. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I've heard the word a lot, and but yeah, much love.
I love what you said. You know, I was mentioning that my sister loves to throw that word around a lot, and I have decided a long time ago that I could love my siblings from far away, which is what I do. But recently they started texting me in group texts. And there's this beautiful feature now where you can get out of a group text. So I used that. And then they texted me again. We have another sister who's been sick. So obviously I want updates on her. But I made it very clear to them last night when they were texting me that I'm not engaging in gossip. You know, she was immediately calling, you know, my mom's a narcissist and this one. And I was like, you know, I will talk about our sister's health, but I'm not going to address what my mom is, you know, what uncle whoever was. I'm loving everybody from afar. So thank you for saying that. I love it.
Can I just jump in with you with that one, Violet? Because obviously I've undergone a lot of that, and I hear exactly what Alejandro is saying, but it's not, but I'm taking the but out. When you've experienced it and you've gone through the healing, and I did a lot of work somatically last year to heal, because narcissism can cause PTSD, and narcissists create their own reality. And yes, the word narcissism is bounded about. So I never even thought about it, never even come across it. It's ridiculously a couple of years ago. But once I started to do the research on it and find all the information I learned then about narcissism matched all the descriptions I'd used for my ex-husband and my son for many, many, many years. And it was suddenly this it explained everything. It didn't excuse it, but it explained everything. And like you just said, Violet, that it's having that distance and the guidance that I took, and this is from somebody that's a real expert on this, which is who she's based in, I think she's in Australia actually. I did a lot of work with her, and it's either going no contact or it's having limited contact, which is what you're doing. It's just managing that, because unfortunately I spent 20 years trying to reason with a narcissist. And it just causes friction, because you cannot reason with a narcissist, unfortunately, because you just don't. I mean, I'll stand my ground, and I used all my energy to survive rather than thrive, which is why I've done so much in the last 20 years and I didn't do much in the previous 20 years. But yes, it's like with my son, I've not spoken to him for a couple of years now. And I love him. I'm always thinking about my son. I always love him. But the way he spoke to me, and I mean, I'm not going to go into it all now, and the way he's distanced himself, unless I drop my partner, how can he ever possibly speak to me again? It's just like, what? That's his stuff, and I cannot collude with that. He needs to go on a journey himself of learning and understanding of how his behavior isn't right, because all of the things that I've done for him over the years have always been thrown back at me. Never done anything for him as a parent, you don't expect your children to go, "Oh, mother, you've been so good to me. I love you." You don't expect that, but when you get the reverse. Anyway, this isn't about me. It's about that whole thing, and just doing the work again on yourself and managing your own behavior around all of that, so that you aren't living in that sort of traumatic state all the time that can bring on, because that it's all about our own well-being, and that's what we're all about. It's that journey, it's that healing. So I see them as teachers about boundaries that I've put into place and things that I've had to learn to move on, because I was always wanting to be there, where actually he needs to go on the journey on his own and learn all of this stuff for himself, So, my ex-husband turned up and was throwing things out. He might have to go and see a psychotherapist. It's like, well, great. That's going to help him. And, it's all about, for all of us, everything that's presented is a journey. It's an opportunity for learning. It's an opportunity for progression, enlightenment, empowerment, expansion. Sorry, I've gone
All right,
on
so
again.
what is everyone's word for 2025? I want to make sure we get to that before we
Those
run
were
out.
my words, Violet. Those were my words. Expansion, empowerment,
Mine is
and enlightenment.
Mine is joy.
Yes.
Carly, what is yours?
Okay. So I have a word for January for 2025, and that is intentional, same as Alejandro was mentioning before. So
Do you have a word for every month? Do you have a different word?
Well, I haven't decided yet. So I have do you want me to show
I like
this?
that idea. Yes, please.
Okay, hang on. Let me take the blur off the background, otherwise you won't see it. So yesterday we did a live here on Insight Timer, and we created a becoming board, and I used my word intentional in the becoming board. And the other word here is lagom, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, lagom, which is Swedish for a concept of balance and moderation in all aspects of life. Not too much, not too little, just the right amount. So for me, I'm going to be creating a becoming board every month in this book. And then at the end of the month, replacing the photos that I've taken offline with photos that I've taken of my own life. So a becoming board, for anybody who wasn't with me when I did this, is the cousin of the vision board. It's about actually, there's my child who's just woken up. Good morning.
Morning.
What timing for the child? So the becoming board is about not focusing on just the end destination. Like, it's great to have a goal. It's great to know that you want something at the end, but how do you get to show up throughout on your day-to-day, your habits, what's your environment look like the journey itself. So I sat down and I made a list. Carly 3.0, scrolls less. Carly 3.0 declutters, Carly 3.0, and all these things. So there's a whole heap of steps that we did, and I'm going to be doing this every month. And yeah, intentional is definitely how I'm starting the year, and I'm doing it monthly because I plan too far ahead, then I get sidetracked and forget about it. And so And just like the moon, we go through phases. And I think over the next couple of weeks, everything starts shifting and it gives me an opportunity to change direction as needed as well. So yeah, the Becoming board, if anybody wants to check that out, I'll be doing another one later in the month, but that's kind of what it looks like here. So it's got pictures of exercise because Carly 3.0 creates space for exercise because Carly 2024 never did. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about this adventure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. I want to shift gears because Blossom Violet asked a question about an hour and a half ago.
Saw that.
And I think it's a fun question. Who is your teen crush?
I'm sorry to say mine was not Donny Osmond, although I did like him. It was probably Keith Partridge.
Who?
You know, from the Partridge Family,
I
Keith.
didn't hear you. Okay, yes. Sarah.
Well, of course it was Donny Osmond, Violet. How can you not have Donny Osmond?
I liked his purple. I
very
liked his purple
disappointed.
outfit, but he was not my favorite. I loved Keith first.
Oh, no. You see, I stayed faithful to the Osmonds. I really did. I did like Donny. It was all over my wall. But then I did sort of move on into sort of...
I didn't like Donny's hair.
No, well, I did move on to David Bowie and Adamant and, you know, a bit of the punk scene after that. So, yeah. But it was always Donny to start with. That wasn't a teenage crush, actually. I was 8, I think.
Blossom, you're still Donny. Okay.
I hope Blossom is here because I thought this was a super fun.
She's here. She said it's still Donny for her.
Donny Osmond. Interesting. I'm just going to say that my first crush was Andy Gibb, but I wasn't a teen. I was like,
I forgot him.
But then it was Judd Nelson from The Breakfast Club. That's
wow.
That's super hottie. I want to see him in latex. Sarah, make that happen.
Carly, who was yours?
I nearly wore latex. But I thought I can't sit here in latex for 2 hours.
Okay, I don't want to go down that road, but another time I want to know why. If you're going to put it on, I'm sure you got to squeeze into it. You have to stay in it.
Another time.
Carly.
My crush was, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Dieter Brummer. I think he's Australian. Violet's like,
Bremmer, and he no, I won't say what happened to him.
I'm pretty sure he took his own life a couple of years ago, but yeah, Dieter Brummer, he was a soapbox guy here in Australia. So that was that. And Brendan Priestley from 90210. That was my two. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a little young for me, but Alison.
Okay, I had 2. When I was younger, it was Ralph Macchio. And then I went to John Cusack. And I have a Donnie and Marie record box. I'm like, I almost got up to run outside to get it because I know exactly where it is.
I love that.
I can go.
Okay, Alejandro.
What is who asked this? Who asked this question again?
Blossom
Blossom
Violet
Violet.
asked it very early on. I think it's a great question, by the way, because I actually think it tells a lot.
I think it tells a lot about how I don't know most of the people you guys are talking about. Let's just talk about generational
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your age.
just kidding. So I, for those of you that don't know, and this is something I've talked about in my life, I am openly a queer bisexual male. My first female crush as a Puerto Rican was absolutely J-Lo. I don't care what anybody says, J-Lo. It was the only poster I had on my room as a tween boy. And then my first male crush, and this was really hush hush back then because nobody knew. It was John Stamos, Uncle Jesse.
I love him.
I mean, I didn't know. I remember not knowing. And there's a journal somewhere.
Did you know him on General Hospital, or was that before your time? Because I used to watch that soap.
I feel it was before my time.
Ah, I loved him long before you knew him. See?
I have a journal that it says in my early self-discovery days, I've been journaling since I was maybe 12 years old. And the journal says, I don't know if I want to be him or I want to be with him. So yeah, those are my two crushes, J-Lo and John Stamos. Just putting it out there. I'm single though, so just kidding.
You're just
And no
kidding.
latex for me.
Just putting it out there, aren't you, Alejandro?
Ooh, I'm too hairy for latex. Sorry.
I learned
Definitely
that
not.
baby powder, you can do anything with latex and baby powder.
Undressing aid. Undressing aid.
I hope you teachers are reading some of these comments. Paul Newman.
Oh, yes. Oh, Sean Connery. Sean Connery.
That's amazing. John Ritter.
Bit of Sean Connery, Melanie?
I didn't see that one, but I'm sure.
But no, that's for me, Sean.
Oh, that's for you. I'm sorry.
Oh, an older man for once. Usually go younger.
Jordan
Armand Asante, BD. Yes, good one. Armand Asante.
Jordan wasn't paying attention, and all he heard was latex and baby powder, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" I walk away for 3 seconds.
Oh,
He heard
wow.
that and he showed all of a sudden.
Wow. That's 60,000 followers for you.
I mean, and Linda Carter. I love Linda Carter, and she's getting a lot of love in the chat. I mean, what's not to love about Linda Carter?
Absolutely.
Did everybody get to share their word for 2025?
I'll do both.
Spencer.
So I've been thinking about who was my teen crush. I'm like, I really don't remember. I don't remember most of my childhood. I'm trying to remember who it was. And I really honestly can't think of one. So it might seem like a cop-out, but I'll share my wife's teen crush. And that is Peter Frampton. So, she loves Peter Frampton music and all that. Hence now the hair, all the other looks. So I figure if I can look as close to the young version of him, I'm set, right? So that's something.
Wow.
So yeah, we'll see. But that's fun. He's an amazing guy. And a lot of the people you're mentioning, the guys, man, some great picks for crushes to have. John Stamos, oh my gosh, Denzel Washington, amazing. Some names I know, some names I don't. Unlike Alejandro, I'm like, I know all the names and who they look like. What everybody you're saying, even though it might have been before my time, like, oh, I know exactly who that is, and they're hot. Like, that's awesome. But not necessarily teen crush. So, getting back to word of the year, mine is listen. Something I don't do well as a person who goes 1,000 miles an hour and loves to talk is listen. So, my plan, my hope, the intention is to listen.
I would also, I'm going to get to you in one sec, Carly. I'm hoping that everybody that's here drops their word in the chat, because I actually think it's super helpful to hear what other people are doing. So feel free to put that in the chat. Carly?
I just wanted to tell Spencer that I did a journal page just recently with the word, with a quote that says, listen has the same letters as silent. So there you go. You can keep that for your word of the year as well, because they come hand in hand.
They really do. Thank you so much.
Because we need to learn, obviously, as a society, to listen to hear and not listen to respond.
I just don't listen.
And I didn't press mute fast enough. The peanut gallery's in the background.
Sorry, but who don't listen to them?
No, but yeah, listen to hear, not listen to respond. But yeah, listen and silent have the same letters. There you go. There's my wisdom.
Thank you.
So clearly he's listening.
I was going to say one thing I do as also a person who is not afraid to be the first person to speak. When I'm in a group setting, I always wait because I want other people to have an opportunity to go before me. Because Spencer, I'm like you, and I know Sarah is a little bit the same way. Like, we're very exuberant and have plenty to say. So it helps me to just wait and give other people an opportunity. And then if nobody feels comfortable, then I come in. But it's part of, I always am trying to listen to other people's cues, nonverbal cues in that environment. Misty said she does the same thing. Anybody else have a word they want to share?
I'll share. I put it in the chat, but my word for 2025 is get her done. I'm trying to I'm trying to I'm trying to channel my inner uncle who sounds exactly like that when he tells me to get her done. But literally, and like mine is kind of boring because it's structure. Because that's what I need more of
I
in
don't think it's
2025.
boring at all.
So structure. And then I will like to comment on the crushes. It took me a minute because I was like, I really don't remember a lot of my childhood either. And my cat is throwing things. Um, but I was thinking about it. Method Man, who's a rapper, Lorenz Tate, who is an actor, and then Jason Priestley.
Good ones.
I'll share mine before John goes.
Go ahead.
My intention for 2025 is honor. I had a live with my mom last week. She was part of the live. And we were talking about our intentions and our goals. And my 2025 word is honor. I have other ones. I have other ones, but truly the root of everything, every choice I make from now on, I want it to be honor. Honor for myself and honor for others. Honor for the journey. So that's mine. Honor.
Nice.
Alison.
John. Oh, I thought John was. I thought you said before John.
John, you have your hand up and I don't see it.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Alejandro was just calling me out.
I know. I was like, I'm not.
That's why I was like, well, he said John, so I assumed John.
I'm quiet because someone asked, and my energy really spiked doing the prayer because I'm like you, Violet. Sometimes I can get more ambivert. I can be really out there or really like shut down. And my energy really spiked. My nerves spiked doing that prayer meditation at the beginning. And it's really taking me some time to come down. So that's why I've been quiet.
That's fine. I can relate.
Yes. And that after a year, I still get nervous every single live I do, but I do it. My words for 2025 is manifestation, transcendence. I'm really want to transcend my ego and trusting in the universe, my higher power. Just trust. So those are my 3 words.
Love it.
Okay, Alison.
Okay, mine kind of came in a little different, but mine is intuition. And then because I did a writing and I know when my automatic writing is done because there's like a quote that finishes my writing. So that's how I like know it's over. And the final quote that came through was intuition is your personal river of inspiration, motivation, and permission to succeed. So, and then it says, so what are you waiting for? So there we go. That's mine.
I love it. And I don't know, John, if you saw the chat, but Jessica said that she messaged you. She was looking at your website and you guys are from the same area.
So is Myesha. Or just across the bay.
But originally, I don't know if I think Jessica lives on the East Coast now.
Oh. Originally? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, originally. Okay, anybody else? Are we wrapping this up? Are we going on? We're going to talk
No,
about
no,
our-
we're here. No, we're here for 2 hours. I'm not letting anybody leave.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what time it is here? I'll be, what time is it where you are? Because I'm getting close to midnight. I'm getting close to 2025 here.
It's 20 to 6. We started at 4. It's for us, it was 4 to 6.
Yes, 20 to 11 here. So in the UK. So yeah, I've not got long to go before the before the year changes and 2025 arrives. Woohoo! So are you in 2025 in Australia already? Are you there? Carly, are you in 2025? Are you in 2025 already? You're on mute. She's on mute. Is she in 2025 already?
Yes.
Sorry, were you talking to me? Jordan was too busy telling me he doesn't remember his childhood crush because he didn't have a TV. So
Oh,
no.
I thought he was getting his peanuts out for you.
Yeah. Yes, it's already 2025 here. I can walk outside and show everybody the sunshine.
Cool. Yes, because I was just saying we've got an hour and 20 minutes and then we'll be 2025 here.
And I didn't make it to midnight. I was asleep by like 9:15 last night.
Well, if I was, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Well, someone let off fireworks at 3:00 this morning in the local neighborhood. So I've been awake since 3 a.m. So I've managed to read a book, finish a book and meditate and still got here just in time in my pajamas.
Yay!
I was still really late.
Oh, well, I've got coffee to keep me going.
I already had my cacao, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great year, though, don't you think, everybody? I think 2025 is going to be a cracker. I'm setting that intention anyway.
I just realized that Melanie got up and left.
She
She was like, I'm not staying. She was like, I am not staying here for 2 hours.
out.
Goodbye.
I'm out. Like, I'm gone.
Said, I'm gone. Thank you. Happy week.
You've got a lot of people on, though. 352 meditators with us. It's amazing.
That is awesome. We are thrilled to see that.
Oh,
Did
it's
everybody
brilliant.
get to share their word? I didn't notice. I'm constantly multitasking, looking at the chat, so I didn't notice it.
Well, I just listed mine before, which was empowerment, expansion, and enlightenment. Those were my 3 words for me and for my clients for the year, because it's stuff that I just want to keep on building on.
I'm laughing at Jessica's comment. She's like, I'm not listening to you, Violet, right? I said she was stubborn. She's like, I'm not sitting here for 2 hours. No,
Carol
Scorpio. That's a Scorpio. We're like, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me I got to stay here for 2 hours. I am out.
No, she did send me a text. She's coming back. She hasn't abandoned us.
She is. There she is. There she is.
Oh
There
my
she
God.
is.
My son has called like 3 times. So I was like, something's wrong. And he needed to know where he should go eat in Manhattan.
Oh, that's important.
Didn't need to know where his pants were then or anything like that. Oh, dear. Well, thank you very much for having me this evening anyway, Violet. It's been lovely. It's been absolutely great.
Yeah, this has been really nice. Thank you everybody that joined us. This was really great. I'm gonna let Melanie take over unless she's got to run.
No, I think I answered his questions, but I think we should, there's 9 of us on here, sort of wrap it up. But we're going to go to 6 Eastern time and all tell our stories about how whatever we need to share about going into 2025 and best ways that we can be supported or whatever it is that you feel compelled to say and share.
I want to add, because Carly mentions the Let Them theory, that book by Mel Robbins, that book for me is like, it's going to be my goal in 2025. I was mentioning that I was talking with my siblings, and normally I get very aggravated when I talk to them, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let them be who they are. And it's once I started looking at it that way, it hasn't affected me. I've been able to have conversations with them, and when the conversation starts going off in a direction that I'm not interested in, I'm like, let them keep talking amongst themselves. I'm out. So that's my advice, is just giving up that control, because that was me trying to control the situation of who they are. And I realized that it's not mine to do. I can only control how I respond, and how I choose to respond is that I'm going to keep living in my joy, and they can keep, doing their thing. Let them.
And Violet, one of the conversations you and I had was I said,
That's part of their own healing. And I say that all the time. That was the best advice Melanie gave me. I was annoyed because of something that my sister was doing. And my sister and I don't speak very often because I can't handle her anymore. And Melanie said, that's part of her healing. And I said, you know what? You are so right. Like that was like this huge light bulb over my head. And ever since then, my conversations with them have been completely different. Every time they say something that I find annoying, I'm like, that is part of their own healing. It's all right. Let them. Sarah.
I was just going to say for 2025, all I'm really wanting to do is keep on going with the flow. And I was identifying that I like a sort of semblance of a structure. I think Alison, was it Alison that used the word structure? Was it Alison that used the word structure earlier? We used the word structure, but having that structure. Oh, it was Myesha, structure underneath everything. But then sort of going with the flow around that structure. And I likened it to the skeleton that, we need the skeleton to support the body to have the human form so the spirit can have the human experience. But within that body, we can flow, we can shape it, we can do whatever we want. But there is that sort of that semblance of structure that everything could be hung upon so that we've got something that we can follow within the flow. Does that make sense? So that you've actually got something that's supporting it, but you're not controlled by it because actually everything's movable. And that's one thing I meant to say previously, that change is the only constant any of us have. So it's just embracing constant change because every minute, everything is changing. So it's just going with that flow and running with it. And yes, I think Carol said she liked the fact that I called 2025 is going to be a cracker. So it is. It's what it is. It is whatever you intend it to be. So it's going to be a cracker.
thank you.
Can you
Spencer?
define a cracker for those of us who are in the US?
A cracker, just brilliant. It's kind of, it's just going to be
All right. No, I just
whatever.
want just
Oh, well, yeah, I'm with you what you're saying, but yeah, it's what you make it, isn't it? It's everything in life is exactly what you make it, and it's how you choose to respond, react, and change your behaviour around things. Whether you speak to people or you don't speak to people, and who you hang around with makes your life, makes your world. So, have a happy New Year, everybody!
For me, for the new year, looking into what I'm trying to do and what I would invite everybody to do is to be aligned. Choose stuff that is in alignment with you, which makes sense to you and where you're going. And if you need to redirect and adjust as you go, that's beautiful, because then you just gain some more awareness and new lessons along the way. So take it as lessons and adjust as needed. But go shine your light, be you, stay aligned, and choose happiness, choose joy, right? Not joy is beautiful, and I want you to go for the joy, the thing that makes your heart smile big, but don't neglect the happiness, the small little things that make you just smile and enjoy it. It could be small and seemingly meaningless, or really big and substantial, and everything in between. Live in joy, live in that happiness, and take life as it's given to you. It's a beautiful present. So make sure you stay aligned, or do your best to stay aligned, and adjust as needed, and be happy. Happy New Year, everyone.
thank you.
Alejandro?
Alison was before me, I think.
It's okay, but thank you.
So,
So next.
for me is yes. And in that process of staying aligned and in that process of having the structure, just remember to, again, I'll go back to my intention. Remember to honor the journey. Remember to honor not only your higher self or that which you are trying to achieve, that goal that you have for yourself, but honor you in the here and the now. Honor the process, honor the pain if that is what needs to flow, honor the tears if that needs to flow, honor the laughter, honor the joy, honor the interactions, honor the challenges, honor the grace givers. I know my mom always calls them, and I talk a lot about my mom, and she's been here on my lives before. But she calls them grace growers, those people who come into our lives and challenge us. They truly help us grow in grace, and giving them the grace to just be as they are. Let them be. So honor the journey. as you step into whatever it is that 2025 has for you, and whatever it is that you're co-creating with the universe, with those around you, honor that journey, because the journey is beautiful. The joy is in the journey. The healing is in the journey. So again, thank you all so much for having me here. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Violet. Thank you to all the beautiful teachers here. And thank you to all the practitioners who have joined. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I honor your willingness to be with us, and your willingness to hear us speak and hear us talk, and I honor the ability that you give us to be just as we are as teachers in this platform. And thank you, Blossom, for asking us about our crushes, which only brings humanity to who we are. We're in this
Yes.
journey, you. We're in this journey with you. We are practitioners also, just because we're on this side of the screen. So thank you for honoring us in our journey, and thank you, everyone. So happy New Year, and I pray blessings over your 2025, and I pray and I establish that the best is yet to come. As you honor your journey, the best is yet to come. And look how far you've come. Thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Alison.
Oh, I love that. I love this. This is so amazing. So I always like to end my lives with an action item. So I'm going to do that tonight here with you all. And if we can pay attention to the energy that we're putting into our words and our thoughts, when we're ending something, if we end on a soft note, or we're ending in a place of allowing things to be, even if they're not the greatest moment, noticing our energy going into the finishing of something, because that is going to be the energy we carry into the new beginning. So if we're in a moment where it's, I can't anymore and I'm done with this, that's a very heavy negative energy. But if you go into the moment of, wow, in my mind, this is something I don't want to be. I don't want to be part of anymore. I need it to change. Instead of saying I can't and I'm done, you can say, I now am choosing. And that is bringing the energy back to you to notice, where are you in the moment, and notice, how can you shift that energy from a negative into, what is it that you need? What direction will fuel you and raise the vibration of the moment going forward? So if you can recognize how you're ending something and hopefully raise that vibration with your words, with your thoughts, you will then begin the next thing in a higher vibration. So thank you all so much. This has been so beautiful and so fun. So, and next time I'll bring my Donnie Marie record case.
I do have to say that one thing I do love about Donnie and Marie is I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll, because I'm married to a country guy and I was from New York City. Not necessarily rock and roll, but I feel like that's my theme song.
Not the morning side of the mountain. You live on the morning side.
Okay, we're
of
not
the-
going to sing. We're not going to
Sorry,
sing.
yeah.
Who
I
had their
can't
hand
sing.
up?
Nobody had their hand up.
Oh, well, you know what I do want? I want to share what people have coming up, because Melanie and I have decided in 2025, we're going to be doing themes. And January 5th, we're doing a vision board theme with Ask Your Guides. February 16th, we're doing decluttering with Rebecca. We have a few brave teachers who are going to go on camera and declutter. I'm probably going to do like a drawer on my desk, because obviously I'm not going to be walking around the house. And March, Tom Evans is doing a storytellers with a few other teachers. I think he's got 2 already that are storytellers, but he hasn't gotten them all together. And yes, Sarah is going to be with us on the vision board. I'm excited about that one. So I want everybody to share what they've got coming up. And if you have theme ideas for us, let us know. Just so you know, though, we're not doing as many of these as we did last year for 2 reasons. Number one is I was wiped out because I have a full-time job during the day. So I was trying to do, I mean, there were weeks when we did like 2 or 3 in one week. And being the introvert that I am, it sucks the energy out of me. So I was like, you know what? We got to taper down a little bit on that. And also, I have a grandbaby daughter due in March. So I'm trying to keep my calendar clear. I'm not planning them as far in advance because I don't want to have to cancel at the last minute either. And, of course, when she comes, I'm running to Pennsylvania. So please share with us what you have coming up.
Well, I mean, I've got stuff coming up, but it's not on here, so I don't think I can actually talk about it. But I will be creating some more courses next year. I released one just recently, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a new course, but I've got about 10 courses on Insight Timer, as well as about 25 tracks. So please do head over and connect with me and have a check out of my courses. That would be lovely. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to head to my profile, you can find out all the other bits and pieces that I actually do, because I record a lot of stuff for harnessing happiness. I can't tell you what it is, but harnessing happiness I'm doing a lot, and I'd like be great to connect with some more of my more teachers and record some content that we can potentially put onto Insight Timer too. And obviously coaching as well. I do walk and talk and international coaching, so that's really me.
Thank you.
Over and out.
Spencer.
Go ahead.
So like Sarah, I can't mention most of it, but I'm uploading new meditations and all that stuff, so you can check those out. I just submitted one today. Hopefully it'll get approved soon, so you can check that out along with more throughout the year. So feel free to check that out. Join us for our Tuesday meditations outside of the next 2 weeks, because we're gone to the Philippines. We will be meditating here on Insight Timer at 9 a.m. Eastern every Tuesday. So come on, check it out. Hang out with the Energizers. We're a fun crew. Just gonna pour love and light into you and have some fun. And you can check out my profile link for all those other little bits and funs of information, as Sarah put it. So you can check all that good stuff out.
Who's next? Alejandro.
John. Hi, John. And they started singing. John was messaging me, telling me he was going to call me out to sing. So no singing, at least for me in 2025 here on Lives. No singing for me. But yeah, I'm working on some courses, like Sarah says, and some courses here for Insight Timer and some new offerings. I was actually up all night recording some stuff and getting some stuff happening. And for more offerings, Myesha and I are actually working on something together. So you can go to the link in our bio for beautiful offerings that are to come outside of Insight Timer. But here on Insight Timer, I'll be going live again every Saturday. My first half of the year is going to be very busy. We're working on some things with my work I do in prisons and with the Prison Yoga Project. So my first half of the year is going to be very, very busy. So I'll be here at least once a week. I don't know if 3 times a week like this past year, but I'll be here every Saturday morning, Mountain Time at 8:30 a.m. So thank you all so much. Lots of blessings, lots of love. And yeah, continue to support us as teachers. You can listen to our lives or join our lives or listen to our meditations and truly engage with us. Thank you all so much.
Just want to throw in there that I admire the people who can do that, go live 3 times a week or, every day, or like Melanie did the 12 days of cookies. Like I would have been dead. So I admire those of you who can do that.
Those of us that do that, though, get energy from doing that. So it's not depleting.
I was gonna say, I do get energy, but then afterwards I'm like exhausted.
It's a give and take. It's a give and take. I get a lot of prepping, but in the giving, especially in the meditation part, it's a lot of there's some energy exchange. So, but it's fun. I love it. I love being here.
It is fun. Yes, it is fun, and that's why I do it, because it is fun. And it's funny because when we were doing so many of them, I was so enthused that I was like, I mean, we had this schedule like 6 months in advance, Melanie, I think it was. We had booked from August through like the start of March, and then we started doing all these lives, and I was like, okay, I'm tired, but I would never cancel, obviously. So now I'm like, let's pace ourselves. I'll, as they come up, as the weeks come up, we'll plan it, but I'm not planning 6 months in advance. That was a little much.
John, were you going to?
Sure, yes. So I've been live every day this week. I've done 2 lives already this week, and I'll be live 5 times in the next 3 days, doing a lot of awakening work. So tomorrow I'll be live twice, work on New Year's Day, just embracing the process of awakening. On Thursday, I'm doing what is called soul signature. What is your soul signature? And then Friday, we're going back into the soul again, working with soul, what is called the soul constellation. So doing a lot of work with awakening the soul. So do check that out. I'll be live 5 times in the next 3 days, and I have 2 new courses that were released in October. The Path to Self-Love, Healing the Mother Wound, and the Path to Wholeness, Healing the Father Wound, really trying to help you take you through the chakras to find those energy blocks in your system. And I really do a lot of my lives around that as well, helping you to find those energy blocks in your system to release that. So, and just lastly, just want to say thank you to this beautiful community, these teachers, Violet and Melanie, and just completing my 1 year as a teacher here. And I just thank you for coming to my lives when I'm here. Thank you for listening to my content. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability in the online classroom, in the courses. And thank you for following me and just really helping me thrive this past year on this most beautiful app, the most beautiful community there is. I'm just beyond grateful and didn't expect that this would be coming for me. So it's just amazing. So happy 2025, everyone. Be the light. Be the light.
Love that.
It's beautiful. Alison.
Let's see. I do have some things coming up. I just finished. I do a month in advance. That's how I do mine. I can't do 6 months, Violet. I'm with you. I can't, that's too much. I choose not to. I can't. I choose not to. Right. So
Yes.
I am doing beginning on the 6th, because I have a little travel coming up myself on the 6th of January. And then every other day I will be live at 3:00 for midday mindfulness. I did a whole month of journal sessions in November, and it was amazing. And I actually missed it in the month of December because I only did twice a week. So I'm going to go back and do every other day, with a prompt all around, why are you afraid to succeed in your life? And really unpacking those things and really pushing and having some action items for that. So, and then I will continue with my intuitive readings, which I will do on Fridays at 10 a.m. And I do that for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that's what and again, like everyone else, I have other things. So feel free to follow me and check out my bio, the link in my bio. And again, this has just been delightful. I'm going to be reaching out to some of you because this is just so exciting. And I just feel some deeper connections and things that can happen in this collective. And to all of the attendees today, thank you so much. I mean, this collective of energy really does boost me. This is why I don't do things in the evening, because my energy just keeps rising and then I don't go to sleep. So I have to do mine in the morning, and 3 is like the latest for me. Otherwise I'm just all jazzed up. I can't settle down. So thank you all so much, and happiest new year.
Thank you. Myesha.
Thank you. My phone died, so I can't see the comments anymore. But yeah, so I'm starting a new series here on Inside Timer in January, and it's embodying liberation through the seasons. Sorry, I'm reading and speaking at the same time. Embodying liberation through the seasons, and the theme for January is embracing inner resilience. And so that'll be on January 12th if you want to join me for that. And I'll do that once a month with a different theme. And I'll also do my From Surface to Soul once a month. So I'll be on Inside Timer at least twice a month. And I always just allow spirit to work through me. If anything comes up in addition to what I plan, then I will do that as well. But yeah, follow me and join me for some embodied goodness on Insight Timer. And the last thing I want to say is just, just really for 2025, enjoy the beauty in becoming. Like, take some time to honor and enjoy the beauty in becoming, because it's all about the becoming, right? I love you all. Happy 2025.
Love you. Thank you. Carly, whoops.
Thank you very much for having me again. I'm super excited about 2025. I've I've planned out my January, and unlike my normal go by the seat of my pants, I'm actually scheduled every Sunday night for a cacao. That's Queensland time, and then Wednesdays for a creative session during the day. So super excited. This Sunday night, we're actually opening. So this Sunday night's cacao, we're opening our first January envelope. So anybody who was with me when I created the January reading envelopes, we're actually opening the January envelope at the start. And the card that's in here is actually going to be the intention for the ceremony. So I'm super excited about that. So that's Sunday night at 8:00. There are other sessions scheduled in the app that just haven't been approved from the IT end yet because they're on holiday, so they're a bit short-staffed. So they're a bit behind time, I think, of getting things up there. But there is cacao every Sunday night at 8:00 Queensland time, and then Wednesday mornings at 10:00 for a creative session. And yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm with you, Violet. I'm looking forward to showing up, not less, but. And it's not that I wasn't intentional, but I definitely did push myself to do more this last year than normal. And it didn't always serve me, even though it served the community. So I'm being a bit more intentional with my online presence this year. So I'm very much excited.
Yeah, I like that. And one of the things I had said to Melanie when I first was like, I need to pull back a little, is that this does bring me a lot of joy, but because I was getting exhausted, it was taking that away, and I didn't want to lose that.
Yes, and that's me. Like I don't get I don't get drained from it so much as, like it's a lot on my family. I've got 2 people in my household that I care for. I've homeschool. We've got 1 car, so I've got appointments to get to take them because Jordan can't drive at the moment because he can't see properly. So there's a lot going on in our teacher lives behind the scenes that, like I would put a lot on hold of myself to show up more online for the community because I loved it. And I love everybody here and I love the support and that. But this year I'm really like focusing on just 1 or 2 things instead. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And I can relate to that too, because we have an open concept house. So when I'm doing lives, my husband's got to be quiet. I'm like, when you get home from work, don't make noise. Don't make the dog bark. The other day, the internet wasn't working. I was like, get off the TV. I need the bandwidth.
Yeah, and that's what I'll tell Ella. Turn your Wi-Fi off, and I ask Ella to be quiet while I'm doing the meditation and stuff. And
right. And then I feel terrible because he's sitting there quietly, like staring at a dark TV.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's a lot to ask.
I do readings and healings during the day, so our house is busy all.
Yeah, and that's it. Like we're not like we're teachers here on Insight Timer, but we're also people and humans that have a full life outside of it as well. So we want to show up as real as we can, but without
We need a studio.
Yeah, Carly needs a studio. That's for sure. So,
Well, my husband's a carpenter, so I asked him if he would build me an acrylic soundproof box or something. That's on my wish list.
Build me one.
Yes. Then I will send him to everyone's houses.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much for having me again. Honestly, I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a thrill always. Who's
Okay,
next?
me. I have a live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and I'm excited because like I said, that's when I started, was a year ago. And I think
your live was featured, which was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, my live was featured. That's really fun. And, if you haven't been with me before, I teach cooking because that's what I know how to teach, but I really use it to help conversation starters and really help people connect. And there's a lot of lessons in our lives that have a lot of analogy with food and cooking. And whether you cook or not, you eat. So it's a great opportunity to show up and help nourish yourself in so many ways. But my usual lives are Sundays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So if you love food, eating, cooking, talking, I have a very active chat in my lives.
That pretty much covers everybody, right? I hope you love food or eating, cooking, one of those.
People don't. Trust me. I mean, there are people in my
I mean, I don't like cooking, but I like eating.
Well, that's why I say we all do have to eat every day. So it's a great way to sort of embrace community. But I hope to see you guys there. And of course, thank you to everyone that came here today. I really appreciate you all spending the past 2 hours with us, ringing in the new year. It's been a beautiful time. So thank you. And thank you, Violet, for putting them together.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, all the teachers. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to add before we say goodbye? Just checking. I don't like to cut anybody off. All right. So, and like I said, January 5th, we're doing a vision board with Ask Your Guides. That's our next thing. So I can't wait. Can't wait to see you all there. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Happy New Year.
Woohoo.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. See you on the Saturday. See you on the Sunday. Vision boards next. Bye.